Now, there is a video that I wanted us to take a look at from our man here, Dank. He says, Bael is searching for our grave. We need to beat him to it. Now, this is intriguing. All right, this is some wild shit. All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Professor Donkey Explains Destiny 2 lore. Okay.
I'm so sorry, Donkey. Everyone, it's Donkey. We've been calling him Dank this entire time. It's Donkey. Shit.
And today I have a grand theory about our potential return to the corridors of time. Now, this whole theory is based on some new dialogue at the end of Lawless Frontier missions, where Bale talks about how he sees the future where he kills us, right? The Guardian. And he sees our grave, but our grave is empty. And so he orders the Imperium to find our grave, the Guardian's grave. And I'll play that audio.
Dude, I completely missed that. When the
False weapon. I see your throat slit. I see you buried. Because I do so. So why is your grave empty? The legions await your command, Lord Dredge. Ask them to find the grave. What? I hear you. Tell them I'm on my way.
So if you guys remember, around 5 or 6 years ago, back in Season of Dawn, we went into the corridors of time and did this whole community puzzle where we would go through the different pathways, and at the end of the pathways in the corridors of time, we found our grave, which was our resting place sometime in the future. And so it seems as though Bale is looking to find our grave to potentially find out how we died. You know, why is it empty? And before I really flesh out the theory, I want to lay out a little bit of some prerequisite information so that we're all on the same page, right? Because when it comes to this time stuff, it can get pretty complicated in basically any sci-fi universe because it can be a bit confusing, right? And so let's start off with what even are the corridors of time. So the corridors of time was this place we could access through the sundial on Mercury. And it would basically allow us to explore different timelines within the grander universe of Destiny, because Destiny exists in this grand universe where there are multiple different timelines. If you remember in the Heliostat exotic mission, which just came out in Ash and Iron, we pull out the battle axe, Wolfsbane, from a separate timeline, right? So different timelines exist within the Destiny universe.
brother, I gotta get caught up. Like I am way out of the loop. Are you serious? Wolfsbane came from another timeline? Look, this is what happens. This is what happens when we don't keep up with the lore. You know what I mean?
And so as a result, the corridors of time allows us to explore these different timelines. And because Bale is the vessel of Six, who is a fourth dimensional being, he's one of the 9, time is non-linear for Six, which, because Bale is the vessel, allows Bale to see time in a non-linear way, right? Bale can see the past, present, and future all at once, which is why Bale is able to see our grave in the future, who's able to see us die at his hand, and that's why he wants to find the grave, right? Because he can see the future. Now, when Bale says the grave is empty, I like to think of this as Bungie trying to tell us that our death at the hands of Bale is not necessarily set in stone, right? Kind of like the prophecy of extinction we got at the end of the Edge of Fate campaign, where sure, you know, the 9 can see that future, they can see the extinction event that's coming, and there's a whole, and 3 gave us a whole warning to try and prevent it. It's still preventable, right? It's still not set in stone. The future can be changed. And so us dying at the hands of Bale is not something that is set in stone because Bale sees it as empty, right? That's just a personal theory, right? I think the future of us dying can be changed. But Bale definitely wants it to still happen, so he wants to find our grave. Now, here's the problem. Bale is going to have a pretty big roadblock to get to the corridors of time and to get to our grave. That's because Mercury is still missing, right? So if you guys remember sun setting, Bungie did a whole in-lore explanation as to why they removed 4 destinations from the game, right? They removed Mars, Titan, Io, and Mercury from the game using the explanation that the Witness stole these destinations and he brought them into the Ascendant Realm, into his possession. And as of right now, only 2 of those destinations have been returned, right? Both Mars and Titan have returned, but Io and Mercury are still missing. They're still within the Ascendant plane. And so if you can't get to Mercury, that means you can't get to the sundial, which means you can't get to the corridors of time, which means you can't get to our grave. And so the whole thing relies, I misspelt Mercury, by the way. The whole thing relies on getting Mercury back from the Ascendant Realm. So how can this be done?
So we're kind of safe, right? As long as Mercury stays in the Ascendant Realm, we good, correct?
Well, the way that Mercury was stolen in the first place is using this power called the power to move worlds. So what is this power? So the power to move worlds is basically the ability to teleport things, like move one thing from one spot into another. And we also
pinned comments. Okay, Donkey has a pinned comment right here. Correction. Apparently, Mercury is actually back. It's been confirmed in the lore tab on the new Equilibrium dungeon armor and other parts of the lore. I haven't caught up on the dungeon lore yet, but I don't know how I missed the other stuff because I try to read all the lore tabs. Maybe I just forgot. My bad, y'all. It's kind of embarrassing. This basically cooks half my theory, but it was fun while it lasted. Corridors of time is still on the table, though. That's the only thing I care about. Yeah, if whether Mercury's back or not back or fully back or half back, I just care about, are we going back to the corridors of motherfucking time? Because that shit, that would be wild.
That this power is somehow related with the power to take. Because the way you take something is basically you teleport this living being, let's say like a scion, right? You teleport a scion into the deep where it is then hollowed out and sharpened into this form, and then it's taken back out as a taken scion, right? So it's the same.
Cut the man some slack. Oh my god. Everybody chill right now.
Same underlying mechanism of the power to move worlds, of the power to move things, to teleport things, because you're teleporting a scion into the deep, and then you're taking it back out. You're teleporting Mercury into the Ascendant Realm, and you can also take it back out, right? And so I like to think of these two powers as similar, but not one-to-one, right? And that's because if you have the power to take, you definitely have the power to move worlds, but if you have the power to move worlds, it doesn't necessarily mean you have the power to take, right? And that's because taking something requires you to have a direct relationship and connection to the deep, and the deep is basically just a different name for the winnower. And so if you have no connection to the winnower, you have no connection to the deep.
God, dog it. I forgot about that. Yeah, taking powers are not just like some other like darkness power. Think about it. The voice that talked to Oryx was a different voice. When Oryx became the Taken King. And so what if taking is literally like directly from the winnower? And again, kind of comes back to the whole paracausal, anti-causal. You know what I mean? I am convinced worms were talking to him. Bullshit. He slayed his worm. And then something else talked to him. Because the dialogue changed. You know when the winnower talks, it's the way in which the dialogue is different. The messages are different. I think all roads are leading. I know we're on the corridors of time thing right here, guys. I think y'all need to give up on a red subclass. I think we're going to get a black subclass. That's what I'm telling you. I think all of this, everything we're going through, all the stuff that we're doing, hell, the fact that we were in the dungeon and we were using taking energy to blast the shields off of the different Cabal enemies. We are getting a taking subclass. I think that is more likely than a red subclass. Do you realize how amazing? You realize like how sequel worthy? Like you want to talk about a D3 thing? Imagine walking up to an enemy and taking that motherfucker's soul. You hear me? Taking that putting Greg behind you and say, you work for me now, bitch. I don't know how you're going to balance this, right? Like I have no idea how you're going to, what are you going to be inside of Crucible and you're going to spawn in a damn taken fallen captain? I don't know. I don't know. It's not necromancy because remember, Oryx could take, still follows sword logic. Remember his son wasn't as, I don't know. Oryx had a bad relationship with all his children. But he had a son who what? Got into necromancy. And Oryx said, get the fuck out of my throne. You see where I'm coming from? He was a massive disappointment. The point is, though, it's not necromancy. They're not the same thing. No, stop. Nokris did necromancy. Oryx didn't like that shit. We need necromancy. It's similar, but not the same. The difference is necromancy is you kill things and you bring it back to life. Taking is you grab them by the balls while they're looking at you. You make direct eye contact and you take that goddamn soul. There is no, let me erase your existence and then bring you back to life. No, it's deep eye contact all the way through and you're conscious for this shit. You see where I'm coming from? That's the difference between taking and necromancy. All right, we'll get back to this.
You can't take something, but you can still teleport Mercury into the Ascendant Realm, right? You still have this power. And so there's only a few characters within the lore of Destiny who have these powers, right? And there might be more, but only 4 of them really come to mind for me, right? And that is the Witness, who definitely had the power to move worlds. Actually, I don't remember if he had the power to take, so he definitely had this power. Oryx, Savathun, I don't know how to spell her whole name, so I'll just do Savvy. Savathun, okay, Savvy. And Lord of Every Nothing, right? Leon, okay? Lord of Every Nothing. And as you know, both Witness and Oryx are dead, okay? They ain't around no more. But Savathun and Lord of Every Nothing are. And the reason why I say the Lord of Every Nothing has the power to move worlds is because Lord of Every Nothing has the power to take, which, if these are related, and to take something is to teleport it from one spot to another, which is the same thing as this power, it has this power, okay? And so Lord of Every Nothing has this power, and Savathun also has the power to move worlds. And we learn this in the Witch Queen campaign, because Savathun's whole plan was teleporting the Traveler from the last city into her throne world. We also learn in the 2 Truths, 2 Lies story missions in the Witch Queen campaign that by comparing what has happened in Destiny, by comparing what might be the truth and what might be the lie, it is most likely that Savathun stole Mars from the Witness when she betrayed it, right? Savathun said, I'm coming to the light now. I ain't on your side no more, Witness. And so, in doing so, she stole Mars from the Ascendant Plane, from the Witness, and brought it back into real space, okay? And so, if she's able to do that, and she's able to teleport the Traveler into her throne world, she also likely has the power to move worlds, okay? So, we got 2 characters, and neither of them like us very much. Both Savathun and Lord of Every Nothing aren't fans of us. Lord of Every Nothing is a pretty big mystery right now, but based on the events of Heresy, doesn't seem very friendly. And Savathun, also based on the events of Heresy, we broke up, okay?
Do we have any, like, confirmation on Lord of Every Nothing? Isn't that the god that was willed into existence by the Taken because they're trying to have a god to worship? Isn't that the Lord of Every Nothing? It's possibly just 6, though. Dude, that makes so much more sense, though. It makes so much more sense to be 6. It's not 6? Oh, it'd be so much cooler if it was, though. Oh, 6 talks to Lord of Every Nothing? We need to watch more Bife. I'm sorry, guys. I'm out of the loop right now. I'm out of the loop.
We interfered with family business. We killed Oryx for a second time, and she broke up with us, okay? She doesn't want anything to do with us anymore. And so we have a bit of a pickle, because if we want to go back to the Corridors of Time, we need Mercury back. And the only two characters who have the power to bring Mercury back are our enemies. And here's the thing, right? If Bale is trying to find the grave, he has a bit of an advantage over us. And the reason why is because Six has some kind of connection to the Lord of Every Nothing. You know, there was a theory that these two were the same, but they aren't. This is basically confirmed with Renegades that Six and Leon, they're not the same, okay? But they have some form of connection. There's some dialogue in one of the story missions, or in Lawless Frontier, I think, where it talks about how Six learned sword logic from Leon, from Lord of Every Nothing. And that's because Six, who is Saturn, and Leon, who is tied to the Dreadnought, which is within the rings of Saturn, because of their proximity, because of their closeness, they have some kind of connection, which allowed Six to learn from Leon how to use.
How is sword logic a thing that even needs to be taught? You fucking... It's like survival of the fittest, right? Kill things if it could be killed. And if you die, it's because you're a bitch. You know what I'm coming from? It's kill or be killed. Six didn't have that concept before. But this makes a lot more sense. So now Six is... He was already Captain Dickhead, but now he's got sword logic in his mind now.
Sword logic. And because Six and Bale are connected, Bale would use sword logic to tithe to Six, which would allow Six to gain power that way. And so there's kind of this like mini alliance between these three characters.
Look at these guys ganging up together.
Which gives them an advantage of bringing back Mercury.
Okay, so Mercury's already back though.
If Leon has the power to bring Mercury back through the power to move worlds, then if they can strike some type of deal, right? Because Bale wants to find the grave, and Bale is the vessel of Six, and Six is somehow connected to Leon, and Leon has the power to bring back Mercury, they're beating us at this race to the grave, okay? And so our only connection to someone who has this power is through Savathun, because we don't have any connection to Leon.
I still think this is a good theory. Like, even if Mercury is back, I think this is a great way to rope in Savathun. But let's be real, man. We messed up. We messed up. Look, let me tell you something. Sometimes when there's family matters going on, if it ain't your family, you need to stay out of it. This is Family Matters 101, okay? You know what I'm coming from? And all she said was, listen, there's some family issues going on right now with Oryx. Let me handle this. And what did we do? We fucking put our finger right into the pot. You see what I mean? Like we stuck our nose right in it. We said family problems. Oh, I'm here. And then what did we do? We contribute to Oryx dying yet again. You see what I mean? Who the fuck's making these calls? I'm not even talking about from the writing. I'm talking about like, this is some Vanguard bullshit, you know? I mean, like, really, somebody at some point needs to look at Zavala and be like, hey, listen, we need to probably fuck off in this situation. You know what I mean? Eris made the call. Oh, it was Eris. Oh, Jesus. Are we forgetting everything she did before the Witch Queen? Look, yes, she made herself look like Osiris, and she made hot, steamy love to Saint for about 1.5 years. And let's just in the lore books, even Saint himself said that it was some ballin'. I mean, they had the amount of things that happened in that 1.5 year time frame. Crazy. Did y'all see the lore books? It was like bleep, bleep, bleep. It was like, you know, tongue here, bleep, bleep. So anyways, it was some crazy shit. So let's just say, all I'm saying is Saint had a good time. He had a good time. Must not have been that bad. Didn't question it for a whole year, right? Didn't question it once. Wait, so he had sex with a woman disguised as a man. This reminds me of that clip from Asmund. Asmund's got a clip out there. Somebody find me the clip of Asmund where he's in there and he's talking about there is a fucking clip of Asmund on a situation very similar to this, and it's actually funny as fuck.
So she's our main lead in order to beat Bale to the grave. And another reason why this is important, right, is because of this whole bind the 9 goal, right? We learned in Renegades that binding the 9 is to tie the 9 to a body.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
The thing is, we don't really know how that works yet. We don't know what type of ritual how the mechanics of binding one of the 9 works. But there is a possibility that to bind one of the 9, the planet itself needs to be present, right? Because the 9 are tied to the gravity of their respective planet, right? 6 is tied to the gravity of Saturn, right? And 1, Mercury, is tied to the gravity of Mercury.
This is the clip I'm talking about right now. Okay, so girls' lunch table. I can't believe Rebecca's dating that guy. Boys' lunch table. Oh, no.
If you had a robot, a sex robot, and it was controlled by a person in another country where prostitution was legal, but where you were at, it was illegal, but you're having sex with the robot, but the robot is being controlled by a person. Is that illegal? Number 1. Number 2, if you're a guy and you have sex with a female robot, but the female robot is being controlled by another guy, are you gay?
See, it's like Osiris, Savathun, and Saint 14. It's the same goddamn thing. Look, some of you fucking know. Because I tell you right now, growing up, this is exactly what the boys' lunch table was like, man. There's always like hypotheticals being thrown out there.
But the robot looks like a girl. Like, let's say the robot looks like a girl. Like, are you gay or not? Only if you know it's a guy. All right, I really like that. So basically, it's like a Schrodinger's gay.
Oh, shit, dude. Well, we all meme about it right now, but who knows? That literally may be the future in the next few years. Just saying. Robot strippers are becoming a real thing.
And so if Mercury isn't present in our dimension, if it's in a different spot within the Ascendant Realm and we have no access to Mercury, it might interfere with our ability to bind the 9 to a specific body, right? And so if we want to stop Bale's plans from finding the grave, if we want to bind Mercury to a body, to bind the 9, we also need to bring Mercury back. And so because our only connection to someone who has this power to move worlds is through Savathun, we need to somehow mend this breakup, okay? We got to strike some type of deal with Savathun in order to foil Bale's plans, right? Because if Bale gets to the grave, maybe he'll be able to confirm, set our future death in stone, right? And if we want to prevent the mass extinction event, and we need ourselves as the weapon, right, to prevent the extinction, we want to make sure we don't die in the future. And so if Bale's trying to use the grave to confirm our death, because it's not yet set in stone, and we need to be alive, we need to beat him to the grave, and we need to bring Mercury back to bind the 9. And in order to do all this, we also need Savathun.
All right, so you guys are telling me that Mercury is back. All right. So if Mercury's back, then it's just a straight up race to the grave, correct? I mean, until like, again, from a spin comment, there's a pin comment saying that there's lore from the dungeon that even says that Mercury has returned. I guess the question is are we going back to the corridors of time? And will it be different? Like, will it even require us to solve anything to access it?
It's a lot of information all at once, okay? And maybe I didn't present it in the best way. So let's just quickly, slowly go over this one more time. Bale wants to find the grave because he sees our grave in the future, right? But it's not yet set in stone because he sees that our grave is empty. In order to get to our grave, we need to use the corridors of time. And we can only get there if Mercury comes back from the Ascendant plane. And the only way to bring it back is with the power to move worlds. And the only 2 characters that have this power, that I know of at least, is Savathun and Lord of Every Nothing. And because Lord of Every Nothing is somehow connected to 6, and because 6 is connected to Bale, because Bale is the vessel of 6, That means there's a mini alliance that might form, which will allow Bale to use the power of Leon to bring back Mercury to get to the grave
Next raid boss is the 92 Bulls.
first. And we, with our goal of stopping the prophecy of extinction, of binding the 9, and because we as the weapon need to be alive in order to do all of this, we've got to make sure that our death is not set in stone, and we got to bring Mercury back. And we want to do this before Bale's plan can come to fruition, because Bale is the bad guy. Okay, right? And we want to win. So we need to mend our relationship with Savathun to use her power to bring it back so we can beat Bale. That's the theory, okay? Now, when is this going to happen, right? When are the pieces going to be put in play? My theory is that this is all going to happen...
Cross whiteboard session win? Never.
...within the Alchemist. I also don't know how to spell Alchemist, guys. The Al, okay? The Al, that's what I'll say. I think it's going to happen within the Alchemist. And the reason why is because Bale seems to have some kind of connection with this Alchemist figure, who we don't know who it is or what it is. It's still a mystery right now. But there is some dialogue within, I think it's the campaign of Renegades, where Bale talks about how he pens the book of the Alchemist, right? He's the hand that writes the book of the Alchemist, okay? And so Bale has some type of connection to the Alchemist, right? The Book of Al. And so if this is a Bale story, where we're trying to beat Bale to the grave of our guardian, we're trying to beat Bale to Mercury, and because Bale is connected to the Alchemist in some way, maybe it's related to the Alchemist. Because I think in Shattered Cycle, we're probably going to learn how to bind the 9. We're probably going to bind one of the 9 to somebody in Shattered Cycle. And once we learn the mechanics of that, we now got to go 9 hunting. And if we want to go 9 hunting, we're going to need Mercury back. And so that's what I think is going to happen in The Alchemist. It's a race to the grave. And so that's the theory, guys, of how we're going back to the Corridors of Time and why it matters in the story. Hopefully this made sense. Hopefully it wasn't like all over the place. Sometimes as I'm giving the presentation, it feels a little bit word salad as I'm speaking it. And then when I go into editing, it's actually fine. So hopefully that's the case. Okay, hopefully you guys it made sense for you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
I like the idea. What would Bale even do at her grave? What is he just gonna sit there and just look at it? Like what's he just gonna piss on it? Like what's he gonna do to you can't beat us in a 1v1, so you're gonna talk shit to our gravestone? He's gonna figure out how we died in order to kill us. How can you kill us? I will say this, man. Anybody here watch Jujutsu Kaisen? One of my favorite scenes in the entire show is when Toji shows up out of nowhere to take out Gojo. Now, some of you know what I'm talking about. What was it about that scene that was so crazy? You took a godlike figure who seemed unbeatable in every way, and you took another figure who outmaneuvered that godlike figure despite being less powerful. And not by much, but less powerful nonetheless. And it was all because everything was planned down to the last detail. Everything that happened in that scene showcased why he was the most elite assassin. All that I ask is that the writers of Destiny at this very moment, please watch Jujutsu Kaisen, and specifically the moment that I'm talking about, because if there ever is a moment where someone has to take out us, the weapon, I would want it to go in that route. You know what I mean? Like I think going in that path would be so fucking good. I don't know if Bale's the guy to take us out, is what I'm saying. I don't think Bale outplays us. Bale is the new Crow. That's the other thing too. Bale, I wonder if Bale is going to be the new Crow. I wonder if Bungie's going to try to create a redemption arc for Bale. Could be. Seems a little predictable. That's why I will say this, guys. Bad guys being bad just for the sake of being bad is just fine. You know what I mean? Like, that's completely fine. Not every bad guy has to be redeemable. If you take Fowler from Blue Eye Samurai, who we've brought up multiple times, he is arguably the worst type of bad guy you can ever. I mean, to his core, this guy is fucking bad. And even the moment you find out why he's bad, you don't even sympathize with him. You just go, he's bad. When you find out about Fowler's background, what you confirm from that is that, oh shit, there's no redemption here. Zero, none. The guy is he's just bad. All right, so what do you do with a guy that's just that bad? Only one thing you can do when someone's that bad, you gotta kill him. You gotta stomp the life out of him. There's no redemption. There's no, let me punch you until you snap out of it or you gain some level of morality. There's none of that. You're just bad. I tell you, some of the most dangerous bad guys are the ones that have an unknown motive. That's why I really like Toji. Why did he kill other sorcerers? Like, why did he kill? Because he can. Because he could. Because he was good at it. Why not? He didn't fucking need the money. It's who he was. I don't think he never needed the money. I don't think he actually ever needed it. I think he did it because it was sport. It was sport to him because he could. What he saw in front of him was a trophy, a challenge. Could he slay something that is unslayable, unkillable? I think a bad guy like that in Destiny would be so fucking good. They observe everything that we do. They know the weapon like the back of their hand, and they fucking come for our shit. You know what I mean? Bro, he had debts to pay off. He wanted to be a better father. Oh my God. All right, if you want to make him broke, sure. Quit trying to make Toji out to be someone who cares. It was sport to him. It was fucking sport to him. Some of you need to watch anime. I'll tell you something, man. Some of the best stories come out of anime. If you're riding out there, watch some damn animes. Some damn good stories. You're missing out on life.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.